No matter where you look today, immigration is one of the biggest and loudest debates in the political world. Governments are trying to shut down borders, politicians are making promises, and the media makes it feel like a modern crisis. And it's not just about illegal immigration, it very much so includes legal immigration as well. But as much as people may want to blame immigrants for the problems in the world, the truth is immigrants aren't going anywhere, because without them, our societies collapse. That isn't a political opinion of mine, that is a rule of human history. And that's what I want to talk about today, why empires have always needed outsiders to survive and why the future of the West depends on them. And before I begin, for those who don't know, I'm an American who lives in the UK. I'm a dual US-UK citizen, and I often make videos like this where I go on a walk and I just talk about whatever. In both the UK and the United States, as well as many other countries, immigration is a hot topic right now. So I thought that this would be a good time to speak on it as an immigrant myself. So let's dive right into it. Let's travel back in time about 2,000 years. We're now in ancient Rome, and we think of Rome as this proud, self-sustaining superpower. But structurally, Rome was, well, a bit of a meat grinder, for lack of a better term. I actually had to learn about this in university when I did Gen Eds, an annoying thing you have to do in the United States. I took a course in ancient Greek and Roman history, where I learned that due to terrible sanitation, plagues, and high infant mortality, the city of Rome actually had a negative natural growth rate, meaning more people died in the city every year than were born. So to keep the city alive, Rome had to continually bring people in from the outside. These were often enslaved people, merchants, and laborers from North Africa, Gaul, and the Middle East. Rome didn't grow because people were having a ton of babies, it grew because it was history's greatest immigrant magnet. And throughout different periods in Roman history, the Romans treated immigration differently. But overall, they were mostly very open to it and often allowed immigrants to become citizens, the ones that weren't enslaved, of course. Had it not been for the immigrant population, Rome would have collapsed centuries before it actually did. And this isn't just unique to Rome. Look at the UK during the Industrial Revolution, or the United States in the early 1900s. Cities such as Manchester or New York grew because of a massive influx of Irish, Italian, and other European immigrants who moved in and built the railways, worked the mills, and staffed the factories. Throughout history, whenever a nation has wanted to build a booming economy, it has had to import muscle to do it. So history shows us that immigration is necessary to sustain a society. However, every time that there's a massive influx of immigration, soon after is a period of strong anti-immigrant sentiment. It is a very predictable and sometimes exhausting cycle. It always goes like this. 1. A country needs workers, so it opens the door. 2. The economy booms, infrastructure is built, and wealth is created. And 3. Time passes, the cultural fabric shifts, and the native population gets tired of the immigrants. Ancient Roman senators complained about the foreign customs coming in and ruining Roman values. We saw it in the 19th century in the United States with the anti-Irish riots, as well as a harsh treatment towards Italians. Human beings have a terrible habit of enjoying the economic benefits of immigration while resenting the actual human beings who provide them. We want the labor, but we panic at the culture. It's a cycle we are trapped in right now. And although right now we're in the part of the cycle where people want to dislike the immigrants, it won't be too long until we're back to people doing everything they can to bring immigrants in again. The cycle continues. In fact, we are facing a sort of global demographic time bomb. In order to keep the population stable, every woman needs to have an average of 2.1 children. Right now, across the developed world, those numbers are definitely not being reached. And somebody may jump in here and say, good, the population on the earth needs to reduce. And all I'm going to say to that is a rapid drop of world population would be disastrous. And trust me, you would care about it once it affects you. A few decades ago, the United Nations Population Division released a report which they called the Replacement Migration. They looked at the demographic trajectories of the world and concluded that dozens of developed nations, including 53 regions globally, would eventually face a choice: either accept massive sustained immigration or watch their economies, pensions, and healthcare systems completely collapse, something we are starting to already see today. Nations that have traditionally been closed to immigrants are about to face a massive problem. South Korea has a fertility rate of 0.72, and Japan, another nation that is fairly closed to immigrants, actually sells more adult diapers than baby diapers. These nations are actually running out of young people to care for the elderly. This problem is affecting Europe as well. In nations like Spain and Germany, they expect population drops, and Italy is expecting to lose millions of its population in the next few decades. Even the United Kingdom and the United States, the nations which I have citizenship in, both fall below the 2.1 needed fertility rate, with the UK having a fertility rate of 1.5 and the US 1.6. In fact, the only reason that the United Kingdom and the United States populations aren't shrinking right now is because of immigration. So the reality is this: even though we like to think of immigration as charity that we extend to the rest of the world, a good deed of allowing outsiders to live amongst us, the data actually shows that the opposite is true. The developed world is aging rapidly. We have retirees living longer than ever and a shrinking pool of young workers to pay the taxes that fund their pensions and the NHS. If we shut the borders completely, who is going to staff the hospitals? Who is going to pay into the tax base? Who is going to keep the lights on? So we can shout our political opinions and we can debate all day, but there's a reality that no speech is going to fix, and that's the fact that history and biology always win. Immigrants have always been here, and they will always be needed. The real question we should be asking isn't how do we stop immigration, but how do we build a society that integrates people well enough to survive the future? Because whether we're ready or not, the world is moving. And before I end this video, I just want to give a massive shout out to my members. Members pay a small monthly fee to help me out. It also gives them a cool badge, priority in the comments, and I give them shout outs on videos like this. Usually I read all the names out, but I'm going to try to keep it a little bit tighter today. So I'm just going to display the names of my members on the screen there. So thank you so much to all of my members. And to bring this video to a close, I want to talk about my experience as an immigrant. I have actually had people tell me to my face here in the United Kingdom that I am not an immigrant. And that's because they have a preconceived idea of what an immigrant is. It's not somebody who looks like me or sounds like me. I think you get where I'm going. This is why I won't listen to anybody who says it's only illegal immigration we're upset about, not legal immigration. I always have the same question for that statement. How do you know the immigration status of an individual you walk by? Because that information is private and is something that they only have to share with employers and people that they're either renting from or buying a house from. That is not information, here in the UK at least, that they have to share with the general public. And that's not to say that illegal immigration doesn't happen, but I am trying to say that people make it a way bigger problem than it actually is. And just for clarification's sake, it's one thing to come into the nation illegally. It's another thing to claim asylum. Asylum is completely legal, and most decent nations allow it. As someone who came to the United Kingdom completely legally, paid thousands and thousands of British pounds for all of my visas, and became a naturalized British citizen, I am not bothered in the least that people have come and claimed asylum here. Nor am I even that bothered by illegal immigrants, although I don't agree that we should enter a nation illegally. What does bother me is the people who lie and put the blame for a nation's issues on immigrants, instead of the people who are actually causing all of the problems for us. But with that, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know if there's anything you want me to make a video about, or if you have any questions, I will do my best to respond. And wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope that you have a great rest of your week.